Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at volatility. All right, so we're going to take a look at VIX and the different trading vehicles that you can use to trade volatility. Okay, so first up, let's look at the futures tonight. Things do change. They were kind of flatlined at first, and then the futures are currently up. You can see Dow Jones is up 82. You've got the S&P up. You've got NASDAQ up, Russell's up, you have the Nikkei up right now overseas, and then you have VIX that is currently down. Okay, so VIX is down 3%, and so if we take a look here at this chart, you can see here that this is the VIX futures. There's a gap in the chart. Check out the space between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle. And so it's hitting what we call the bottom of the gap resistance level. That's always a tough level to break. I wish I could draw a trend line on here, but there would be a line going right across where it's hitting resistance. It's the top of this candle. And so if there's a close above that level, that would be really bullish, and you could see a run right up to 25. Now, if it continues to be resistance, this is the top of the channel. The bottom of the channel is down here just above 15. And so it's currently hitting the top. This is the same level from March, the same level from February. It needs to bust through. Okay, and so if it can stay above the 20 level, that would be bullish. If it pulls back below, that's going to signal a temporary top. Now if we look at VIX here, VIX, the volatility index, you can check out the resistance level that it's hitting now. So it came down and it's hitting the closing price here on the 13th of February, and so it's right at that level. Okay, so the bottom of this red candle, you can see it closed right at that level, and so it's going to need to break above that level to head higher. The next level is going to be 28, and then you have 30, and then 34, and then up here at 38. These are the big levels above. Okay, now first things first, it's going to have to get above 25. If it stalls out on 25 and pulls back, since it's VIX is down tonight, then the key level to hold below would be EMA 4 at 21.95. It needs to stay above that 22 level to keep this uptrend going. On the 19th, there was a bullish change in trend. As you can see, there was the spike from back here in February, and then it proceeded to form lower highs, and it had a downtrend going, and then you could see this downward channel had formed, and then on Monday of last week, on the 19th, there was a close above resistance. So it closed above the red descending resistance line and above the middle Bollinger Band for the first time since this pullback. Okay, and so that signaled the possible start of a new uptrend, and the middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line currently at 1837, did hold throughout the week last week. Also, it was able to turn the green line, the 50-day simple moving average, at 1811 into support. So both levels were holding. That was signaling a change in trend from the previous downtrend and a possible new uptrend starting. And then Thursday there was the big move, and then Friday there was follow through. So right now it's the key levels 25. If it stalls out at 25, you want to see 22 hold. Okay, notice that RSI is up here at 63, so it is in the bull zone. And you have Fasto up here at 91, back above 80, and check out plus DI here. So you have the green line crossing over the black line above 80x. That's a very strong signal that the bulls are taking control. Okay, let's look at VXX. This is the VIX short-term futures ETN. Okay, so this is one way to trade VIX, and you can see here it closed up 5% nearly on Friday. That was a really big move. 64 on RSI, so it's still below this level. Check out how it's it ran up to in February. It got all the way up into the 90s. All right, so it's still just in the bull zone right now, but you do have Fasto at 96, so it's signaling temporarily overbought. There was a really bullish close on Friday above the blue line. That's the 300-day simple moving average at 48.82. The last time there was a close above that level was back here on the the 8th of February. Okay, and that was the peak here when it hit up here at 55 for the close. That was the that was the high close recently. recently for VXX, and so that was the big move, and then it pulled back, and then now it's back above that blue line for the first time since back here on that big move. Now, is this going to signal the temporary top, or is the blue line, the 300-day simple moving average, going to turn into support? Okay, it's going to be all about holding that 48.82 level. If it drops below, then what you want to really see is that EMA 4 at 46.37 hold. You know, that would signal the chart still super strong. It's same with VIX. VXX got above the middle Bollinger Band on Monday of last week, and it started a new uptrend. And so as long as the middle Bollinger Band way down here at 42.72 is holding, this new uptrend is intact. Okay, if it pull right now, the key is if you're long VXX, you want to just play this blue line, and if it's above the blue line, ride long, and then it could run back up to 55. If it drops below the blue line, that's a signal of possible consolidation, and that would be a signal to lock in gains after that previous run. Okay, so that's a simple way to play. It has to be able to turn that 300-day simple moving average into support in order to get a new uptrend going. Notice there was a P-star bull flip, and then down here on MACD, notice the MACD on the 12.26 and 9 just had a bullish crossover last week, and the 8.13 and 5 had one on Monday as well. And so these are both signs of a possible new uptrend starting. If you look at VXX on the 60-minute chart, so now each candle's 60 minutes of trading, you can see here it came back up with this March 2nd high close. Okay, and so it's right back at this key resistance level. This 49.50 was the high close level. So if you see it drop below 49.50, that could signal a temporary top. You know, it completed the cycle here. It ran, you know, it was up here on the 2nd, and then it ran down on the 12th, and then now it's run all the way back up to that level. So it's completed this whole cycle, and so it might take a pause now. You will know whether or not VXX is ready to head higher, whether or not it stays above 49.50. Below 49.50 would signal a possible consolidation. You know, you really want to see EMA 13 at 46.65 hold. That was holding last week. If that drops below, then the middle Bollinger Band is the big level down here at 44.82. Okay, above, if it can stay above 49.50, then you'd be looking at 55 as the next target. Okay, UVXY. This is ProShares Ultra VIX short term ETF, and this is, you know, people trade options through UVXY. And then you can see here it's at 61 on RSI. Fasto's up here at 98, so it's temporarily overbought. If you look at previous times that it's hit this level, you know, and it gets up here, you know, that's where, you know, it takes a little pause. You know, that this is the same as you know, right here. And so, yeah, you know, the red candle followed after it hit this candle here, red candle. And so many times it'll take a pause once it hits this level on Fasto. Now we'll see on this chart that a very nice uptrend started as well on the 19th with the close above the middle Bollinger Band. You know, that levels, you know, was turning into support. Thursday there was the nice move, good follow through on Friday, and so now the big level to break is the 200-day simple moving average at 21.72. Back on that February run, it closed above that level, failed to turn into support and pulled back. And so if it can close above that 21.72 level, if you could see UVXY trading 22 and close above that level and hold that level, then the next target would be 28. You would be looking for a retest of that previous high. Now if it stalls out and it fails to get above 22, that would signal a temporary top. You can see the close here on the 12th. It's going to have to break above that 21 resistance zone, and then you know, what you really want to see is that EMA 4 at 18, and then this closing price on the first trading day in March. You want to see that 19 level hold. You know, it broke above the top and then of this previous channel, and you want to see that level turn into support. Okay, let's look at the UVXY 15-minute chart here. So each candle's 15 minutes of trading. You can see the very strong 2-day uptrend. Notice how on Friday it busted through the top of the channel, so it got up above the ascending resistance line, so it was pushing really hard into the close. Now if it drops back down below 20, you know, that would be a signal it's back in the previous channel, and basically if it gets below that that EMA4 level at 1986. That's a signal that it's cooling down. And then what needs to happen is it just has to hold this middle Bollinger Band, basically stay above 1890, hold that 19 level, and then that would signal the uptrend's still intact. If it drops below 1890, then you have the bottom of the channel on deck at 1850. That's the ascending support line. If that broke, then that would be a clear signal that it's cooling down, and that's when you could possibly see a drop, down to test that 100 simple moving average at 1686. At least it would test the what is this? The 50 simple moving average at 1810. That would be on deck if the ascending support line broke. Okay, let's look at TVIX. Okay, so people that don't trade options, that like to trade volatility, they trade TVIX. A lot of people do, and I mean you could trade UVXY and Y and VXX without trading options, but yeah, the thing with TVIX is a lot of people that trade penny stocks tend to like to trade TVIX, and so when they want to trade volatility, and so this is between 50 and 70 on RSI. It's at 62.50. Notice that you do have the Fasto at previous top levels at 97.30. It's always good to look and see what happened in the past when it hits these key levels. And so if you go down here, you could see the black candle formed on the close above the upper Bollinger Band, and then notice that the candles worked back into the bands. On Friday, there was a close above the upper Bollinger Band. Whenever you get a close above the upper Bollinger Band, you run the risk of the candles working back in the bands. Now, they can push higher. There was a close above the upper Bollinger Band here, and they did push higher. But the following day, there was a red candle on this white close above the upper Bollinger Band. And then you could see this white candle closed above the upper Bollinger Band, and the next day was a red day. So it's a signal that it's getting frothy, just something to keep in mind. And what you really want to see when the candles are pushing through that upper Bollinger Band is you want to see them continue that pattern where they're just riding that between the upper Bollinger Band resistance and EMA4 support. That's down here at 925. As long as EMA4 is holding, this uptrend super strong. The risk is when EMA4 breaks that the candles consolidate and they pull back, and the downside risk here is the middle Bollinger Band at 804. That was what turned into support last week after the close above on the 19th. Okay, so it worked on turning that. It's trying to get a new uptrend going. This is a good start. It has to break above the closing price here on the 12th and 13th of February. That's the level that it closed above on Friday. If it can break above that, then you have the close from over here on the back here in the first week of February, and then it's all about this. It's really all about the 200-day simple moving average. You have these high close resistance levels, but the big level to break is this 200 simple moving average here at 1171. That's what was tested on that February run. Notice how it got hit 3 times here. If there's a break above that level, a close above, and it turns into support, if you see TVIX it trading at 12 and above, that's going to be your signal. Okay, yeah, this is a really strong uptrend. And then you're looking at the 300-day simple moving average way up there at 21. So keep in mind the 200-day simple moving average is always a tough level to break. And if it does, many times that's the signal that the uptrend is strong and that it wants to continue. Okay, but you have to look to take profits at the 200-day simple moving average if resistance fails to break. Okay, let's look at the TVIX 60-minute chart. You can see here it topped out on the 2nd of March. It pulled back. It made this double bottom down here on the 12th and the 16th, and then it took off running, and now it's right back at that level that it closed out on the 2nd. So it has to break above. It has to close above this level and turn it into support. So basically the 1075 level, if it's trading above that, that's a signal that it wants to head higher. If it struggles tomorrow and it can't get above 1050, 1075 and pulls back, then you're going to see the $10 level on deck. That's EMA4. It needs to hold that to keep that strong uptrend going. If that breaks, then you have 934. Notice how EMA13 was holding during the strong uptrend. A close below that would be a signal that the trend has changed, and then you could see that middle Bollinger Band at 867 tested. Notice the big volume spike on the close. That's very interesting. People were probably locking in some gains after the big move. Okay, let's look at the TVIX 15-minute chart here, and you can see it's got It has a good uptrend going, and so I just want to show this to you real quick. Yeah, so it has the really good uptrend going, and so just keep an eye on 1035 here. It just needs to stay above that level to keep the chart super strong. A close below would signal that it's starting to cool down, and then that would put the middle Bollinger Band would likely get tested. Similar to here on these moves, you know, the EMA 4 breaks, and then it comes down and tests the middle Bollinger Band. Right, and so if that level holds, then the uptrend continues. If it doesn't, then the 50 simple moving average at 920 is on deck. Okay, then let's look at SVXY to finish up here. This is the short VIX, short-term futures ETF, and so this is basically this goes up when VIX goes down. So if VIX is under pressure, you know, we'll look here and see where it's at. You know, if VIX is you know, it's down 2.8% right now, and you know, tomorrow everything could change. You know, the markets could be 300 points down and VIX could be running. But we'll keep an eye on SVXY. If you look here on the daily chart, it's really interesting since they did their new conversion where it's like I think it's it moves 0.5 the movement of VIX, so it's like half. And so they've just slowed this thing down to a crawl. And so in both directions, it's not moving that much. It has a very tight sideways channel going. Now it's back at the bottom of the channel. It needs to hold this support level from back here on the 12th of February. Okay, so that was this support level on the 12th of February around 1150. If that breaks, then you could see it drop down here below 10. That was the low close on February when volatility was really running. That's when this hit the low. Okay, to the upside, it's a break above 13. It's all about EMA 13 at 1294. That is the big level to break. So right now it's basically trading between this 1350 level and 1150. You know, a drop below 1150, you could see 10 on deck. If it breaks above 1350, you could see it head higher. If you look at the 15-minute chart for SVXY, you can see here it's been dropping. You know, it keeps on trying to turn the middle Bollinger Band into support. This is the best way to be able to trade it, is to be following the intraday charts. If it can get above the middle Bollinger Band at 1168 and turn that level into support, that'll be your first clue. Okay, yeah, this is really starting to reverse. And then it'll have to get above the 50 simple moving average at 1188. That's going to be the big signal. Okay, yeah, this is back in play. And then you'd be looking for a potential run back up to that 100 simple moving average at 1221 and the previous resistance levels. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, come check out our chat. I'll post the link below the video. Thank you.